What's up, the squad? Back with another video. I seen the title was going down. Make sure y'all hit that like button, subscribe button for me, please. Y'all seen the title. Let's get in the video.
Finally, we know that the third pilot is 28-year-old Rebecca Lobach, the third soldier inside the doomed Black Hawk during the DC crash that clearly was caused by the helicopter. How do I know that? Because I've spoken with a dozen pilots who said clearly the Black Hawk helicopter was warned multiple times not to hit that plane. They were not flying where they were supposed to be. They were not flying on a path they were allowed to fly on. Something horrible went on inside of this helicopter. U.S. Army has identified female soldier doomed Black Hawk helicopter crash in the American Airlines flight, killing 67 people. Rebecca Lobach of Durham, North Carolina, was assigned to the 12th Aviation Battalion in Fort Belvoir, Virginia, and had served since 2019. The Army had initially refused to identify Lobach at the request of her family. Why would that be? And this is the problem, ladies and gentlemen. As you can see here, Rebecca Lobach was an aide to Joe Biden. Rebecca Lobach served as an escort at the White House. Rebecca Lobach served inside of not just the Army, but the Joe Biden administration. It's very curious. Why would somebody who's clearly not a full-time pilot be allowed to fly during and over some of the most dangerous airspace in the world? Lobach served as a White House social media aide during the Biden administration. And you can see here, was taking touristy photos at the press dais inside of the White House. I mean, I'm not saying that every person in the military must swear allegiance to one politician or another, but I am saying that if you're doing multiple jobs, if you're splitting your time and you're not a full-time pilot, why the hell are you allowed to fly over Washington, D.C.? But it gets even worse, ladies and gentlemen. The fact that they wouldn't release her name caused a lot of people to speculate. The fact that she was probably somebody who didn't like President Trump. I mean, obviously, you just have to assume this, right? If she works for Joe Biden and she doesn't like...
I just find it weird, though. Just thinking about that, it is weird. I know a lot of people, you can't really say that and you can't really... Man, I think it's weird, bro. I don't care what nobody... Just first of all, having your social media scrub, didn't release, her name, obviously. And who she was, and then now it comes out as she was a former Biden White House aide. I mean, come on, y'all.
President Trump. If she works for Joe Biden, she has a very specific worldview. You can't work for Joe Biden, who is the most atrocious, woke, radically extremist, progressive president of our lifetime, and not hold those views. You wouldn't mesh, right? And she wasn't there to agitate. She enjoyed it. She has a bunch of squealing photos next to Joe Biden, was sitting there, working with Joe Biden. Here she is with Joe Biden, okay? Again, I'm not saying this doesn't mean she shouldn't serve in the military, but I am saying that why did they not give out her name? And there's no record of this 28-year-old online. So we have the Matthew Thomas Crooks, the Trump assassin in Butler. We have the same paradigm happening here, where for some inexplicable reason, young left-wing person, Matthew Thomas Crooks was a donor to the Democrat Party, right? A Biden supporter. They have zero social media record.
Exactly.
Was this an opportunity for the family to go and scrub and scrape all of Rebecca Lobach's social media? Would that social media presence have shown progressive left-wing anti-Trump views and maybe advocating for DEI in the military? Female Black Hawk helicopter soldier from D.C. crash identified as former White House aide. I'm telling you that I spoke with a Black Hawk pilot who told me that there's absolutely no way that somebody with only 500 flight hours should be flying over Washington Reagan National Airport.
Wow.
This is the most number of VIPs, world leaders, senators, members of Congress, members of the administration, members of the media.
And people cannot tell me that this is something weird about that. It's that right there, that should tell you a lot.
Celebrities, tourists. This is the busiest possible area flight-wise in the world, arguably, when it comes to VIPs coming in and out, when it comes to just regular flight patterns. Reagan is a very tough airport to land at. It's the shortest landing strip in the country, actually. It's very, very
So if he's saying that it's one of the, or the shortest landing strips, when you want the best pilots to be on. I don't know. That's weird to me, y'all.
To airspace, right? You have the White House there, you have the Capitol there. You should only have the single most qualified, experienced pilots flying these routes, not a 28-year-old who is just like doing this part-time and doesn't have any experience. It doesn't make any sense.
Exactly.
Ladies and gentlemen. It doesn't make any sense. There were two other soldiers killed in the crash. Andrew Eves, who's 39, and Ryan Austin O'Hara, who's 28. And, well, I mean, I guess there's a lot of questions left. I'm not sitting here placing blame necessarily on one person or another.
It's not necessarily, I don't think that anybody is more so of a blame. It's more so of like what's real. You know what I mean? What's real and like what's weird about the whole situation. Like we have somebody that just like what do you say? I think his name is Thomas Crook, something like that. But then you have him, then you have her, and their social media is getting wiped out. They didn't release her name or anything about her at all. It's still nothing really about her, but you know, a few pictures and her name. But then on top of that, it's like, bruh, like what is actually going on? Like, honestly, what is actually going on? And then you got, let's see what Laura.
I am doing is asking some pretty obvious questions, which is like, why? Right? Why? She was the pilot. She wasn't just a crew member. She was the individual flying the plane. So why? I mean, honestly, how many evaluations did she pass because she weren't allowed to fail or because her instructors looked the other way? This is why Trump called out DEI immediately.
Me personally, just it looks like to me, and you know, you definitely watch what you say, but it looks like to me, you know, it's just and I don't want to make this sound bad, bro, but how it's looking, I would say, how it's looking that everybody from what I'm seeing is that okay. Put the blame on Trump. You know, it's more so, you know, and I hate it. I hate it that it has to, and that's why I want it to be further, you know, investigated and stuff like that, because I find this stuff weird. I really do. And I'm not by all means saying that it's Trump's fault and I'm blaming Trump. I'm just saying that's what, you know, who is, you know, what they trying to do, and it's messed up. It's sad.
Trump knew. Trump was briefed. Obviously, he's the commander-in-chief.
It's innocent.
Why did Rebecca Loebach's family wipe all of her social media accounts before revealing her identity? These are the questions that people are asking online. Rebecca Loebach's social media have traces of extreme Trump derangement syndrome or anger towards the MAGA movement. Why was her entire social media footprint wiped out? Just like with Matthew Crooks, entire social media footprint wiped out. People are asking these questions online.
Exactly.
As we had to wait 4 days for Rebecca Loebach to be ID'd. She had no deployments, yet she's flying in what is effectively a war zone above Washington, D.C., right? In the sense that there are so many different planes, it's such a high-intensity area. Why are you doing training flights there and not the Panhandle? I'm not saying this person shouldn't be allowed to ever fly, nor am I saying that, like, that because she supported Joe Biden, which she clearly did, that means she's disqualified from military service. I'm saying, why not do these flights in the Panhandle in Florida? Why not do these flights over the Sierra Nevada desert? If she needs to be trained, why are you doing it in the most dangerous possible area? It doesn't make any sense. And then when you see what the helicopter actually did, with no evasive maneuvers at all, even when the helicopter was told time and time again from the tower, get the hell out of there.
See, that's
watch out
weird,
for that plane. Bro. It was told time and time again. It didn't do anything. It leads to more questions than we have answers. And there's zero. Here was a White House social media aide under Joe Biden, yet she has zero social media presence. Was the delay in releasing her name to wipe clean all of her social media? This is what everybody's saying. During the last 4 years, she worked at the White House for Joe Biden. She was training to be a helicopter pilot with the 12th Aviation Battalion. She was 28 years old, and clearly progressive views. Right? You can see here. She's like clearly progressive. I've said it before. I'll say it again. This doesn't mean she can't serve our country
at all.
It doesn't mean she should be disqualified and immediately run out of the military. But it does beg like a very serious question, which is why was somebody who's so inexperienced flying such a dangerous path? And then more importantly, what the hell happened with the helicopter? Because even with that inexperience, you'd assume that the other two pilots maybe would be able to take control, would be able to prevent the crash itself in an emergency situation. Where were they, right? And why was the helicopter veered so wildly off course?
And that's why when it said that having a 38-year-old was a 38-year-old staff sergeant, I'm pretty sure. But it's just a simple fact, like Benny said, that is the shortest landing strip. I don't get it. A lot of this stuff doesn't make sense to me as I'm following up and seeing different things about it. But I don't know. I definitely feel like it does need to be further investigated, because it definitely is crazy. I don't know why people think that, especially when you have these independent journalists, these influencers that's actually looking and looking at these different things. If they have to travel, if they have to look here, talk to this person, that they won't take the extra measures of doing that, because there is a lot that will. I tried to find information, whether it's this, whether it's that, as much as possible, because it is important. Obviously, mainstream media isn't going to show that. You know what I mean? It's not. They're not going to show a lot of different things. So definitely appreciate y'all tuning in and watching this video. Make sure y'all stay tuned for the next video that's going to be dropping. I wasn't going to do another video because I'm not having the best day right now. But, I definitely got to drop another banger for y'all. Catch y'all next one.